Now at 9, some Carthage community members voiced their support for city leadership. Plus, a proposed sober living house in Baxter Springs is creating controversy among some residents. And federal funding is announced for the city of Baxter Springs to help build a new firehouse.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Community members voice support for the Carthage city officials after the city council discusses their removal. This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. KOAM's Samantha Walker sat down with one official caught in the middle of the controversy.
Earlier this month, the Carthage City Council made a vote of no confidence in Mayor Dan Reif. The council also voted to dismiss City Administrator Greg Dagnon, but Mayor Reif says the motion requires his vote, and he is not willing to approve the removal of Dagnon.
It takes a majority vote of the council and the concurrence of the mayor, and I don't agree with that in any way, shape, or form. I mean, City Administrator has done nothing but a fantastic job. So to me, there's no reason for him to be removed from his position.
Council members who voted for the removal of the two officials say there is a mistrust. Since the council vote, city employees and community members have voiced their support for the mayor and the city administrator. Many in the community have distributed a letter by email that says they are in support of the immediate suspension of all proceedings leading to the removal of the two city officials.
Of course, it feels good to know that there are a lot of folks out there that do support us and do see the positive changes that have happened in the last few years and want to see that continue.
Mayor Reif says this process could take months, slowing down other city work. He says the people most impacted are citizens.
It's on everybody's mind, and it's making it difficult for everyone.
We have reached out to every Carthage City Council member. Council members Lori Lease and Alan Snow are the only ones to respond. Lease says she wishes to receive all the facts before making a decision about potential removals. Councilman Snow says over time he has lost trust in both the mayor and the city administrator. You can read his full statement on our website, KOAMNewsNow.com. Reporting in Carthage, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
Well, the agenda for tomorrow's City Council agenda includes discussing law firm options for opinion on the removal of the city administrator. And you can learn more about the current issues between Carthage City Council and city officials on our website, KOAMNewsNow.com. Well, Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty joins us now with a first look at weather.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a nice Monday for us today. Temperatures fantastic, up to 69. For a high. Chilly start, 37. We got a little frosty in spots, but at least we stayed above freezing. 71 is our average high, 49 is our average low, and the record of 90 on this date. All right, still kind of windy out there. The winds are going to calm down as we continue to go through the night, but still definitely breezy. And we do have some clouds which have been increasing over the past couple hours. We have a weak little wave, weak little cold front that is going to head toward us. That may give us a random shower as we go through the daytime hours tomorrow. Better chances for a few thunderstorms on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, at least a low severe threat, and then a much higher severe threat Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So we're going to be breaking this down, talking about this here in just a bit.
All right, thanks, Doug. A nonprofit sober living ministry is planning to transform one home in Baxter Springs, Kansas. KOAM's Amber Jenkins has more about the proposed new sober living house and some community response.
Upright House Ministries is building its first sober living home for men on Park Avenue in Baxter Springs, Kansas. The Christian nonprofit organization plans to house 6 men who are serious about living sober.
Have at least 30 days clean, go through an extensive interview process and background checks. And we want to give them a safe place to come in, be able to rest and recover from the life that's been on the streets.
One neighbor passed out flyers to residents concerned about the house location. The sober living home is 300 feet south of an elementary school and a 3-minute walk from a restaurant bar that you can see from the porch.
I kind of questioned the location myself at first, but I work with folks all the time. There are different classes of people in addiction. The people we're going to be working with are guys who are really trying to get their life together. I wouldn't dream of bringing somebody in here just straight detox off the street and put them in the neighborhood, because that would be wrong. we're going to be good neighbors.
Another neighbor who lives 2 houses down says he's happy a sober living house is opening up.
A lot of hate talk against the house, afraid that criminals are going to be near our children, and these kind of criminals aren't necessarily child offenders, so we don't need to worry about them. People trying to get clean are, people we need to have around.
The Upright House Ministry president saw the online discussions. He wants residents to know that the 6 men living there will be serious about sober living.
Folks that are getting really upset don't really understand who we're talking about. They think that it's going to be like Skid Row. That cannot happen in the neighborhood, and it will not happen in the neighborhood.
Reporting in Baxter Springs, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
Well, the resident who made the flyer plans to speak at the city council meeting to address the placement of the sober living home. Baxter Springs City Council meeting is tomorrow at 7 p.m. The city of Fort Scott now has a new entranceway to its historic downtown. The Fort Scott Chamber of Commerce today hosted a ribbon cutting for the new downtown arch. It was paid for with grants from the Patterson Family Foundation and Blue Cross Blue Shield. The event also served as the kickoff for the downtown cleanup project.
So this is a culmination of 8 years of work with our Blue Cross Blue Shield Pathways to Healthy Kansas grant. The Healthy Bourbon County Action Team was created to increase access to physical activity, healthy food, promote tobacco cessation, enhance quality of life, and encourage economic growth.
So we wanted to connect the east side of Fort Scott to downtown. Studies have shown that if we make it a place, that people will walk to it. And so this is just a beautiful entrance to our downtown.
The chamber also gave away camping chairs and a fire pit at the event. As people across the country celebrate Earth Day, the Webb City Public Library is helping patrons develop their own green thumb. The library has more than books, opening up a seed library for the first time this year. Seed companies and library patrons have donated seeds, and the public is free to come pick out whatever they'd like. Available seeds include various types of produce, flowers, and herbs. The Seed Library organizer says it offers an opportunity for the public to try out gardening.
I hope more people are learning to grow their own food and everything like that, because we know there's all sorts of stuff and the stuff we buy and everything. And there's nothing better than homegrown produce and everything.
The library hopes that people turn in seeds from their own crops at the end of the season. And they hope that by doing so, the Seed Library will create a cycle of growth for the community to enjoy in future years. Coming up, we'll have some healthy habits you can pick up to also help the earth. Today is Earth Day, a time to focus on ways to preserve and protect our planet. And there are things you can do to not only support the earth, but also your health. Mandy Gaither has some healthy habits that can help you be greener.
Planet health and human health, the two go hand in hand.
The choices that we make in life every day affect not only us, affect everyone around us, and affect our planet.
Dr. Sophia Asfaw with Cleveland Clinic says there are some healthy habits that can help both. By biking, walking, or running, you can get exercise and get to where you're going without relying on a vehicle, reducing emissions into the air. And a plant-based diet is not only good for your body, but also the earth.
In order to produce meat-based meals, there's a lot that goes into it. There's chemicals that we have to use to raise the cattle or whatever meat-based product that you have, that then in turn pollutes the environment, and that can also lead to negative effects on human health.
Asphalt says when you're staying healthy by washing hands or brushing teeth, don't waste water. Turn it off when you're not scrubbing. She says you can also reduce energy expenditures and the amount of greenhouse gases that can impact the climate and therefore our health by turning off lights, unplugging household items when not in use, buying recycled goods, and setting your thermostat to eco mode if you have it.
If we take care of our planet will take care of us.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
President Biden celebrated Earth Day by announcing $7 billion in EPA grants to increase household access to solar power. He traveled to William Forest Park in Triangle, Virginia to talk about the Solar for All program, which offers homeowners grants and loans to install solar panels on their property. The president says grants covering every state and territory in the country will help reduce carbon pollution by more than 30 metric tons over the next 25 years.
And it's a big deal. This new Solar for All program means that 900,000 households, 900,000 will have solar on the rooftops for the first time and soon. Millions of families will save over $400 a year in utility bills, and that's $350 million nationwide.
The president also announced the first jobs available as part of the American Climate Corps. Under the training program, more than 2,000 young people in 36 states can apply for positions aimed at fighting climate change. Well, Doug is next with a complete look at the forecast. And later, two of the top baseball teams in the SEK Conference square off as Pittsburgh hosts Chanute.
Well, of course, a nice day for us today. Temperatures right around 70 degrees. We did have some upper level clouds, but overall, it was a pretty nice day, and it looks like we're going to continue to have nice temperatures as we go through the next couple days. But we do, of course, it is severe weather season, and we do have some hot spots we need to watch. So let's jump into Thursday. Greater severe threat is going to be out across central and western Kansas, but as some of these storms drive in Thursday night, we will have a low severe threat. Now, as we move into Friday, the greater threat shifts right on top of us. And then on Saturday, still really from Kansas City, Joplin, back to Oklahoma City, and also Wichita. And then even on Sunday, we have this threat starting to push back toward the south and to the east. So we could have severe weather 4 days, I think, in the viewing area. It's pretty likely we'll at least have severe weather 3 of the 4 days. So we're going to have to keep our eyes on that. All right, let's go through time. Here's Thursday evening, showers and thunderstorms. Again, greater severe threat is back to our west. On Friday, really right across southeast Kansas, southwest Missouri, into northwest Arkansas, that severe threat. And then Saturday, it kind of back builds to the west and then drives in as we go into Saturday night. And then by Sunday, again, that next line of showers and thunderstorms. So it's severe weather season, and we usually see setups like these at least once during the season. All right, the winds are kind of breezy for us today. They're going to stay breezy tonight, but they are going to back down just a little bit. We do have some clouds starting to increase. This is with our next little weak wave. Cold front draped back across southern parts of Nebraska. This isn't going to do much for us. Could give us a random shower tomorrow, and then the stronger storm system, which will give us our severe weather, building out toward the west. All right, let's go through tonight for you. We'll stop 6 a.m. Some clouds across the region, could have a random sprinkle. As we go through the day, possibly a random shower or two, especially in our southern counties by the afternoon. Temperatures about 72, 73 for a high. As we go into tomorrow night, we clear out for a bit. Clouds move back in by Wednesday morning. As we work through the day on Wednesday, showers and a few thunderstorms, especially back to our southwest, will start to increase in northeastern Oklahoma and then kind of push through as we go through Wednesday evening, especially our southern counties. Not anticipating those to be too strong or severe. All right, day playing a 55 to start, 68 by noon. High temp on your Tuesday, still looking pretty good at 73 degrees, 68 on Wednesday, 70 on Thursday, storms late. We're going to make Friday, Saturday, and Sunday possible alert days just with that severe weather threat. And of course, we're going to know a lot more as we get a little bit closer to the weekend. And then we clear out behind it early next week, back to 72, back to 83 next Tuesday.
Yeah, we definitely need some of that moisture in the soil. Well, coming up, federal funding announced for the city of Baxter Springs to help build a new firehouse. The city of Baxter Springs, Kansas today announced federal funding for a new firehouse. The city hosted a groundbreaking ceremony and held a news conference to discuss the project. $1 million in federal funds will be freed up to replace the city's current firehouse, which is more than 100 years old. Fire officials say they've outgrown the current station and need more space. Former firefighters were on hand for the ceremony.
So it's been tremendous to be able to have 3 of our firefighters that served over 50 years of service in that fire station of 100 years. For them to be able to break ground and be a part of this new firehouse to start a new tradition is just spectacular for us.
Federal money comes from fiscal year 2024 appropriations package passed by Congress and signed into law last month. Community members in Lamar, Missouri are rallying together in an effort to show the city how much they want to keep the community aquatic center. This comes after the city announces last month that they were accepting bids from engineering companies for the demolition of the aquatic park. KOAM's Anthony Saviello has more.
After years without a drop of water due to safety and maintenance concerns, the Lamar Aquatic Park could very likely be going away.
No action has been taken, or selection of an engineering firm has been made at this point, and the expectation would be to select an engineering firm, and then they would oversee soliciting bids for the actual demolition.
However, there are community members in Lamar who don't want to see the pool go away. People like Susan Rolland.
Our park is just so beautiful, and I think keeping our pool there and alive would just improve the quality of life for the citizens, and all. It's not just for kids, it's for all ages. Swimming and water is so good for everyone.
Susan was a swim coach for Lamar and has been an advocate for the pool, alongside Debbie Little. Both of them say they want to work with the city in hopes to salvage some, if not the whole, aquatic facility.
We have a really great opportunity to do something great for our community right now, and we don't want to butt heads with the city at all. We want to be a helpmate to them. We want to take our ideas and what we'd like to see as a community and give them a plan of action that we'd like to see put in place by our city officials.
Mayor Olchin says the aquatic park was something he wanted to address when he was elected, but has concerns about the cost of keeping the current facility.
Those numbers came back very high, and no action has been taken on that inspection. So there's lots of ideas and thoughts out there about what we need to do next.
As it stands right now, the fate of this pool and the surrounding facility is still unknown. But the mayor says that him and the city council are going to do what they feel is best for the community. But community members want to make sure that that means keeping this pool. Reporting in Lamar, Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
The advocate group will meet again next week to discuss further plans. You can learn more about their plans on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Up next, we're going to learn how much money was raised for Joplin's Bright Futures and a basketball fundraiser between police and firefighters. The Joplin Fire Department may have won the annual Guns and Hoses benefit basketball game, but Bright Futures Joplin is the biggest winner after more than $32,000 were raised. The money will help support local students in need, specifically through the organization's Snack Packs program. Through that program, they're able to distribute more than 600 food bags every weekend to students. That's impressive. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports is coming your way. Opening statements begin in the criminal hush money trial against former President Donald Trump. Plus, Southwest Missouri reaction as the Supreme Court takes on a ban against homeless people sleeping in public parks.
You're watching the 4 states' most watched news.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. The first witness begins testifying in former President Donald Trump's historic hush money trial. Prosecutors argued in opening statements Trump orchestrated a criminal scheme to corrupt the 2016 presidential election, while Trump's attorneys called him innocent. Fox News' correspondent Connor Hansen has more from New York.
Court ended early Monday, but not before prosecutors called and started questioning their first witness in the former president's criminal hush money case. David Pecker taking the stand in a New York courtroom to testify in Donald Trump's historic trial. The former publisher of the National Enquirer, who has been granted immunity, confirmed he had the final say on what stories would be published. and prosecutors say he played a key role suppressing stories on Trump during the 2016 campaign.
They buy the rights to a story and then choose not to publish it. People may not like that, but there's nothing illegal about that. And the state was arguing that they did that in order to help Trump win the election.
In the center of the legal drama is a $130,000 payment made to adult film star Stormy Daniels to allegedly quiet her claims she had a sexual encounter with Trump. Trump's then attorney Michael Cohen allegedly orchestrated the payment after being alerted by Pecker. In court, Trump's current attorneys argued they were legitimate legal expenses.
He puts in an invoice or whatever, a bill, and they pay, they go at a legal expense. I got indicted for that.
During opening statements, prosecutors said this case is about a, quote, criminal conspiracy and a cover-up to silence people and ultimately influence the 2016 election. Court resumes Tuesday morning with a hearing on whether or not former President Trump violated his gag order, followed by more witness testimony. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox News.
Well, the nation's struggle with homelessness reached the Supreme Court today for arguments about whether a ban on people sleeping in Grants Pass, Oregon's public parks is constitutional. An appeals court struck down the measure, saying it violated the 8th Amendment because it punishes people for something they do not have control over. The High Court justices today weighed whether homelessness is someone's status or their conduct. A ruling is expected by the end of June. Back in December, the Missouri Supreme Court struck down a similar law enacted by the state legislature that prohibited the homeless from sleeping on state-owned property. Joe Hickman has a look at the problems that still exist and what difference the U.S. Supreme Court ruling might have.
Even though Springfield's Eden Village won its lawsuit last December that struck down House Bill 1606, which made it illegal for the homeless to sleep or camp on state-owned property, those who are living on the streets are still being told to move on from where they are every day. Today, police visited an encampment located a block away from City Hall, where a handful of homeless people had been for several days. They were given 2 days to move on. As to where?
I have no clue. Well, now there's nowhere for us to go that other people have messed it up.
As in next door at NAMI. The National Alliance on Mental Illness is not a homeless shelter, but is a drop-in site during the day.
It's like our library, our computer lab, any resources that might help you in your mental health journey.
And when it comes to the homeless having no place to go,
we see this every day, so there are always people outside of our building seeking shelter, sleeping. So we're seeing some vandalism. We see a lot of, unfortunately, urinating on the building, defecating. We recently had to close down because there was a rock thrown through our front window.
Despite all the problems, though, Taylor says allowing laws that punish the homeless doesn't seem like the answer.
There's such a need for a year-round shelter for situations like this, but I just hate that we're criminalizing it. I feel like it just makes it harder on them.
To penalize somebody for something that is out of their control when we're not addressing the root causes or the real issues at hand, I think is a waste of our time and resources.
There's no way you're going to sweep the homelessness under a rug. Instead of trying to sweep it under the rug or locking us all up, why don't you take that grant money and help us get off the street?
And so at what point do we come together and say, hey, this is not okay? And so for the Supreme Court to really be looking at this issue, I think is really important.
For Christy Stiles, who's been homeless for 3.5 years, the key to not being harassed by the public is for the homeless to clean up after themselves.
This is a mess right now, and yes, this is what people get upset because people come in and they trash their businesses, trash everything out, and don't have the respect and manners and pick up after themselves and be nice.
And as for the government deciding what to do to try to address homelessness, those who are a part of it remind them.
The things that I see on a daily basis just breaks my heart. These people are just doing their best, and they're being kicked while they're down.
Not all of us are on drugs. Not all of us are rude and mean. Not all of us trash an area. Some of us do have respect and manners for people. Just cut us a little break.
Dozens of people were arrested today at Yale University as authorities moved to shut down a pro-Palestinian protest. Hundreds of protesters had gathered at a plaza on campus. Yale police say roughly 45 people refused to leave and were charged with criminal trespass. The action came amid growing concerns about the safety of Jewish students on college campuses. Simmering tensions over the Israel-Hamas war have led to protests on numerous campuses, including Columbia University and New York University. A bit later, our planet versus plastics.
It's time to show the planet a little love. I'm Jackie Ibanez with a look at this year's Earth Day theme and how you can take action. That's all straight ahead.
Well, of course, a nice day for us today. Temperatures right around 70 degrees. We did have some upper level clouds, but overall, it was a pretty nice day, and it looks like we're going to continue to have nice temperatures as we go through the next couple days. But we do, of course, it is severe weather season, and we do have some hot spots we need to watch. So let's jump into Thursday. Greater severe threat is going to be out across central and western Kansas, but as some of these storms drive in Thursday night, we will have a low severe threat. Now, as we move into Friday, the greater threat shifts right on top of us. And then on Saturday, still really from Kansas City, Joplin, back to Oklahoma City, and also Wichita. And then even on Sunday, we have this threat starting to push back toward the south and to the east. So we could have severe weather 4 days, I think, in the viewing area. It's pretty likely we'll at least have severe weather 3 of the 4 days. So we're going to have to keep our eyes on that. All right, let's go through time. Here's Thursday evening, showers and thunderstorms. Again, greater severe threat is back to our west. On Friday, really right across southeast Kansas, southwest Missouri, into northwest Arkansas, that severe threat. And then Saturday, it kind of back builds to the west and then drives in as we go into Saturday night. And then by Sunday, again, that next line of showers and thunderstorms. So it's severe weather season, and we usually see setups like these at least once during the season. All right, the winds are kind of breezy for us today. They're going to stay breezy tonight, but they are going to back down just a little bit. We do have some clouds starting to increase. This is with our next little weak wave. Cold front draped back across southern parts of Nebraska. This isn't going to do much for us. Could give us a random shower tomorrow, and then the stronger storm system, which will give us our severe weather, building out toward the west. All right, let's go through tonight for you. We'll stop 6 a.m. Some clouds across the region, could have a random sprinkle. As we go through the day, possibly a random shower or 2, especially in our southern counties by the afternoon. Temperatures about 72, 73 for a high. As we go into tomorrow night, we clear out for a bit. Clouds move back in by Wednesday morning. As we work through the day on Wednesday, showers and a few thunderstorms, especially back to our southwest, will start to increase in northeastern Oklahoma and then kind of push through as we go through Wednesday evening, especially our southern counties. Not anticipating those to be too strong or severe. All right, day playing at 55 to start, 68 by noon. High temp on your Tuesday, still looking pretty good at 73 degrees, 68 on Wednesday, 70 on Thursday, storms late. We're going to make Friday, Saturday, and Sunday possible alert days just with that severe weather threat. And of course, we're going to know a lot more as we get a little bit closer to the weekend. And then we clear out behind it early next week, back to 72, back to 83 next Tuesday.
All right, so Doug, basically you're telling me I need to get all my mowing done early before it starts raining the rest of the week. Thank you. Well, coming up in sports, Missouri Southern women's golf tees off at the first day of the MIAA championship. Plus, Chanute High School baseball tries to take down Pittsburgh for the second time this season. John Dales has those stories and more up next.
2 of the top baseball teams in the SEK Conference meet this afternoon. Pittsburgh hosts Chanute, and the Purple Dragons lost to the Blue Comets in their first meeting of the year last month. Both of them entered today, having won 4 of their last 5. Pittsburgh High School baseball at home, taking on Chanute for the second time. Blue Comets winners in that first matchup. Top of the first, Lars Kester hits a bloop single into left field. That's going to bring in a run. Chanute takes an early 1-0 lead. Later in the frame, Royce Cheney at the plate. He connects and hits a line drive into right field. That brings in another Blue Comet run. They score 2 in the top of the first inning. Bottom of the second, Pittsburgh starting pitcher Bo Pasteur comes to the plate with 2 runners on, and he helps his own cause. Hits one into the left center gap, but check this out. 2 Purple Dragons end up at third base after a base running miscommunication. Quentin Fears tries to go home and score, but he's out at the plate. Purple Dragons rally, but it's not enough. Chanute beats Pittsburgh for the second time this season. Final score 3-2. Missouri Southern Women's Golf begins play at the 2024 MIAA Championship in Bolivar this morning. The Lady Lions hoping to replicate the success of the men's team, who just won their conference championship in Kansas City last week. Day 1 of 3 at Silo Ridge Golf Club is complete. The Lions find themselves in 5th place as a team. Their score 27 over par. Northeastern State in 1st place at 15 over. Rogers State 4 shots behind in 2nd. Now the Lions are just 1 stroke behind Central Oklahoma, who's in 4th place. Here are the individual scores from Missouri Southern's golfers after day 1. Lion teammates Emerson Doyle and Katarina Chinareska are both tied for 12th place. They're each at 6 over par. Lily Allman just 1 stroke behind. She's in 20th place at 7 over. And then Ada Nunez, she's tied for 24th at 8 over. Over to Major League Baseball. The Royals have lost 2 in a row. The Cardinals have lost 3 straight. Both of them begin new series this evening, both of them at home and hoping to snap those losing skids. We'll start with the Royals. They turn their 2-game losing streak into 3. They fall to the Blue Jays 5-3 tonight, despite out-hitting them 8-6. Salvador Perez has a 2-hit night in a losing effort. These two teams play each other once again tomorrow evening. Again, that's at Kauffman Stadium. First pitch at 6:40. Meanwhile, Cardinals break their losing streak. They take down the Diamondbacks 5-3. St. Louis first baseman Paul Goldschmidt goes 2 for 4 with a home run. But Nolan Gorman comes off the bench, and he has the biggest highlight of the night. The 23-year-old hits a walk-off 2-run homer in the bottom of the 9th inning to give the Cardinals the win. And looking ahead to tomorrow, one of the softball games we're excited to cover, Diamond takes his undefeated record across state lines to Columbus, who's only lost 1 game this season. So 1 lost team at home against an undefeated team, and also it's Missouri versus Kansas, which you don't see much late in the year.
Little border rivalry there. That's interesting. That'll be a fun matchup.
Definitely looking forward to it.
Looking forward to those highlights for sure.
Of course.
All right, thanks, John. We're back with more news after this. It's time to show Mother Earth a little TLC as we commemorate the 54th annual Earth Day. Fox News correspondent Jackie Ibanez takes a closer look at this year's theme and how you can do your part to protect the planet.
Monday marks Earth Day, a time to celebrate the planet and increase efforts to protect the environment. And with this year's theme being Planet versus Plastics, advocates continue sounding the alarm about their massive impacts.
We produce more plastic than most people can imagine.
According to the United Nations, the world generates roughly 400 million tons of plastic waste every single year, much of which is made up of single-use plastics. For instance, 1 million plastic bottles are bought every minute around the world. But with less than 10% of plastic products being recycled, many wind up as trash in landfills or as litter in natural habitats, where they can take hundreds of years to break down into smaller bits.
Problem is, plastics are never just plastic. They have colors in them, they have fire retardants. These are all chemicals.
Those small microplastics can then end up in the water and food we consume. While more research needs to be done to determine any risks, a study from the World Wildlife Fund reveals people eat about a credit card size worth of plastic every week.
We're all becoming more plastic, even if we don't know what that means.
But the crisis may only get worse, with global plastic production expected to triple by 2050 if business and consumer habits go unchanged.
The more people feel connected and the more they know what their waste is, the more recycling programs will work.
To learn more about how you can take action this year, visit earthday.org. Jackie Ibanez, Fox News.
Well, coming up, we'll check out the newest entertainment options for you to enjoy at home this week. An action thriller, a modern classic, and an iconic British duo are among the new digital DVD and music releases available to add to your home library. Fox's Ashley Dvorkin runs down the list of what's new in home entertainment.
Jason Statham's action thriller The Beekeeper tops this week's list of what's new in home entertainment. He plays a former operative of an organization known as Beekeepers, who puts aside his now honey-making hobby and comes out of retirement to avenge his friend's death.
I just want to know what's going on.
The comedy Drive Away Dolls follows two friends on an impromptu road trip to Tallahassee, Florida, which takes an unexpected turn when they cross paths with a group of unskilled criminals.
Do you always go on holiday alone?
Ian McShane leads the thriller American Star as a veteran assassin on a final assignment on the island of Fuerteventura, where he experiences a renewed sense of life.
We deal in deception here.
Available to own on 4K Ultra HD disc and digital for the first time is Martin Scorsese's Oscar-winning crime thriller The Departed, starring Jack Nicholson, Matt Damon, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Mark Wahlberg. And the 1989 classic Steel Magnolias gets a 4K Ultra HD upgrade in honor of its 35th anniversary.
Yes, a crime!
A small screen favorite to own, the animated series Harley Quinn Season 4 is on DVD and Blu-ray. For music fans, rock band Alien Ant Farm released Mantras, their first album in 9 years. And English synth pop duo Pet Shop Boys released their 15th album Nonetheless. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
Well, that's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. We're going to leave you with video of giant pandas at the San Francisco Zoo. Have a great night and an even better tomorrow.